I had that mental block thinking, well, I don't have time to exercise. I don't have time to go out for a half hour or 45 minutes or whatever. But I had little bursts of time, right? Like little blocks of time that I could get out. Maybe like 10 minutes, 15 minutes, something like that. Hey, how's it going? It is your muscle building coach, Lee Hayward. And right now in this video, I want to discuss the number one thing that you need to focus on when it comes to fat loss. And this is what I would consider the first step to starting a fat loss program. And one of the biggest problems a lot of people run into when it comes to dieting for fat loss is they overcomplicate the process. They make it too big and too overwhelming. And just think of yourself, like if you're going to start a fat loss program, like what do you have to do? A lot of times you're thinking, well, I got to cut out carbohydrates, I got to overhaul my diet, I got to change this, change that, I'm going to have to change my workout routine and like start taking fat burning supplements and all this stuff. You start stacking up this great big list of things that you have to do, things that you have to change, and it becomes overwhelming. And what happens when you get overwhelmed, right? Just think of it. What do you do when you get overwhelmed? You get information overload, paralysis by analysis, and you end up doing nothing, right? And you put it off. You procrastinate because you say, I'm too busy. It's not the right time. I can't do it right now. When everything's on track, when the stars align in the heavens above, and I have absolutely nothing on my calendar, then I'm going to start that fat loss program. So you end up doing nothing, and it just gets put off. And then in the meantime, you end up gaining more weight, getting fatter and fatter. And then by this time next year, you roll around and you're another 10, 15, 20 pounds or more heavier. And you're like, oh shit, like, why didn't I start that program a while back, right? And it just gets this spirals out of control, gets frustrating. And I mean, you probably can relate to this. I mean, I know I can. I fell into this trap myself a few years back, right? Let myself fall off the rails. And the reason isn't because it's complicated. It's just your mindset and how you go about approaching it. So this is what I want you to do. The first step to a fat loss program is get outside and go for a walk. That's it. Don't make it any more complicated than that. If your goal is to burn body fat, start by walking. So, I mean, maybe you're already going to the gym right now, so you can add this in to your workout routine. In addition to going to the gym, add in a daily walk. And it doesn't have to be complicated. It doesn't have to be, an hour-long walk or anything like that. It could be 10 minutes. It could be 15 minutes. It could be just something. Just get your ass out the door and start going for walks. And the more you do it, the better you're going to feel, the better it's going to be for fat burning. And walking is one of the most underrated fat burning exercises there is. Because one, it's easy to do. It's cheap. Like, you don't need any fancy equipment. You need a pair of sneakers and get outside and go. It doesn't require any special planning or anything like that. You can do it at home. You can do it, on your lunch break at work, before work, after work, whatever. I mean, you can do this pretty much anywhere, anytime. Just get outside and go for a walk. And the cool thing about it is the more you do it, the better results you're going to get. And it's going to build that positive momentum. And this is my strategy that I used back several years ago when I had let myself fall off the rails and I was really struggling. This is one of the things that I committed to, was daily walking. And instead of doing big, long walks, I actually broke it down and I did multiple short walks. This was because I had that mental block thinking, well, I don't have time to exercise. I don't have time to go out for a half hour or 45 minutes or whatever. But I had little bursts of time, right? Like little blocks of time that I could get out, maybe like 10 minutes, 15 minutes, something like that, where I could just get out, go for a little circle around the block, 10, 15 minutes, do it first thing in the morning, do it on my lunch break, do it after work or in the evening, just these little bursts of just exercise. And the more you do it, the better it's going to be, and it's going to help to stimulate your metabolism, it's going to help to burn calories, and it creates that positive momentum. And what you'll find is once you start building that positive momentum, then you're going to look for other things. You're going to look for ways where you can improve your nutrition. You're going to look for ways where you can make better food choices. You're going to actually take some positive action in other areas, but it starts with just getting outside and going for a walk. So step one, if you are struggling with fat loss right now, don't even think about changing your diet. Don't even think about supplements, or don't even think about, any of that stuff. Just focus on one thing, one habit. Your one habit that I want you to focus on is do a daily walk, even if it's just 10 minutes, right? If you're struggling, say, hey, I'm going to commit to every single day this week, I'm going to get out for a 10-minute walk. Maybe it's 10 minutes first thing in the morning, 10 minutes on your lunch break, 10 minutes after work, or 10 minutes before you go to bed. Doesn't matter when you do it, as long as you do it. And if you feel like doing more, then that's great. Do more. But commit to 10 minutes. And if you make the commitment so small, it's easier to follow through with it. Like if I said you had to go for an hour-long walk, a lot of times people say, well, I don't have an hour, it's too big, I can't do it, I'll do it later, and they procrastinate. But if you make it small, i.e. 10 minutes, then it's not even worth procrastinating on. Like you could have it done and over with in 10 minutes, just boom, blink of an eye, gone. Like this video is probably going to take you 10 minutes to watch this video. I mean, you're not procrastinating on this, right? If you're watching this right now, we know you got 10 minutes to spare because you're listening to me talk right now. So if you had to watch this video while going for a walk, you would have had your 10-minute walk done, right? Commit to making it so small, so ridiculously small that it's just as well to follow through and actually do it. And what you'll find is the more you do it, then the easier it gets. And just the act of getting outside and going for the walk is going to make you feel better, right? It's going to release those natural endorphins. You're going to get the fresh air and the feel-good hormones throughout your body. And chances are you'll probably actually want to do more. Like you may commit to doing 10 minutes, but once you get out there, you may actually go for 15 minutes, 20 minutes, 30 minutes, who knows? You may keep going because once you get the momentum started, then you want to keep going because it feels good. And if it feels good, you want to keep going, right? Like think of other things where momentum carries over. Like how about watching television, right? Maybe you turn on a Netflix show and you say, I'm only going to watch one show. And then you watch that one show and they leave you with the cliffhanger, and then the thing automatically rolls through and it's going to play the next episode. And you say, hey, I'll watch the next one. And then what you started off to commit to one show ends up being like 2 or 3 hours sitting on the sofa binge watching Netflix, right? The same principle can apply, but you can apply it in a healthier fashion when it comes to exercise. Commit to doing a small amount of exercise, i.e. get outside for a 10-minute walk, and let that snowball, let that compound. I mean, some days you may literally just do 10 minutes, and that's cool. Build the habit of getting yourself out the door and starting. But on those days where you feel good and you want to do more, then let yourself do more and let that habit build. And what you'll find is it's going to carry over into other areas, because after you do that walk, after you have that positive action, it's going to make you want to follow that up now with a nice healthy meal, better food choices, and other better lifestyle habits, because then it's going to snowball into other areas. But start small, start with the daily walk. So your action step, your task, if you will, is today, I want you to go for a walk, a 10-minute walk. And if you can't do it, like maybe you're watching this and it's late at night and you can't do it right now, then first thing tomorrow morning, get outside and go for a 10-minute walk. But that is your action step, and commit to doing that every single day for the next week. Minimum 10 minutes, get outside and go for a walk. Whether that's first thing in the morning, on your lunch break, after work, before you go to bed, whenever, get outside and do a 10-minute walk and just let that snowball and let that carry over and build some positive momentum. All right, so that is your first step to fat loss. Now, if you want some help with creating a full-on fat loss program with nutrition and training and all that stuff, then hey, I've got a free report that I'd like to send you. It's called my Ripped After 40 ebook, and it's a PDF report that I put together. It's 69 pages outlining the exact system that I use to go from overweight and out of shape to getting myself lean and fit and in my best shape after 40. So if you would like a copy of that, just open up the description below this video and you can download that. It's a free PDF download. Shoo off, fly buzzing around my face there. You can download that PDF file, and that will give you a full-on action step and outline the entire process that I followed to go from fat to ripped after 40. So if you're interested, check that out. Free download down in the description below. And stay tuned for another video coming soon. Take care. Over and out.